President Obama, you've done a lot of hypocritical things during your time in office, but this latest action just might be the most hypocritical one yet. And yes, I am talking about that recent report you issued as a follow-up to the presidential memorandum that was supposed to tell Donald Trump what he can and cannot do as president whenever it comes to the United States military.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president. And the reason is because I have a lot of faith in the American people.
Now I get it. You have an incoming president who has said that he wants to kill the family members of ISIS militants, and that he plans to do, quote, a hell of a lot worse than waterboarding. It's easy to want to set out a list of guidelines for someone who, let's face it, hasn't really set out guidelines about what he's actually going to do himself. But the main problem is that the thing this report actually does is it serves as a reminder of all of the places where you, Obama, and your predecessor Bush have used and abused United States military power. It all starts with the 2001 authorization for use of military force that was passed after 9/11. The interesting thing about this report is that it notes that that act was initially passed so that the United States could go after groups like the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, essentially any groups that it blamed for aiding or conducting the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001. The report then goes on to list some of the ways our government has used and changed the meaning of this act in order to apply it to current situations. For example, the same authorization for use of military force that our Congress passed in order to go after the terrorist organizations it blamed for 9/11, that is now being used to go after ISIS, a terrorist organization that was formed well after 9/11 and after the Iraq War began. So yes, when Trump takes office, he will inherit the same endless war that Obama inherited from Bush. But that's not all. See, Trump will also inherit Obama's drone program. Let's not forget that Obama launched military action using drone strikes in countries such as Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Syria, Somalia, and Yemen. But that's not the only area where Obama has expanded executive power. Sure, when you look at the list of executive orders, Obama's count is lower than, say, Bill Clinton or George W. Bush. However, when you look at how many presidential memorandums Obama has issued, his count is nearly 50% higher than Bill Clinton. And when you combine both executive orders and presidential memorandums, Obama has a higher count than any president since Harry Truman and his do-nothing Congress in the 1940s. So to President Obama, if you're concerned about Donald Trump having too much power when he's in office, it's your fault. If you actually cared about the American people, you would have spent the last 8 years setting the standard. Instead, you spent it looking for every loophole and searching for every way to expand executive power. And now we get to live with the results.